Good afternoon and namaste. I'm Gopal Acharya and I will be teaching you sociology and anthropology of grade 12. And today we will be talking about development of sociology and anthropology in the context of Nepal. That is the very first chapter of the sociology subject of grade 12. And today we will be discussing about the concept of development of sociology and anthropology in Nepalese context. Now I would like to start with the slide. So I hope you will be able to understand whatever I'm going to teach you. Sorry for interruption because I had to go with the system, so it's a little bit interrupted. Chapter 1, Development of Sociology and Anthropology in Nepal. It's a Nepalese context where we are studying about the development of sociology and anthropology, okay? But at the very first of the chapter, we would like to start with the introduction of the concept of anthropology. Tyler, 1832 to 1917, he has done lots of works in regard the anthropological concept, and he, including other two friends of him, were the founding father of anthropology. And Taylor has written Primitive Culture, that is the book he has published in 1871. It was about how the primitive kind of traditional kind of activities, traditional kind of cultures were happening in the society. That was the concept of that book. And whenever we look at the concept of anthropology, what we have to understand is anthropology is study of human behavior. Okay, it is a study of human behavior and activities in entirety. It means it talks about only human behavior and actions and activities. Whatever is going on by the human is known as the anthropological study. Okay, a study of human behavior as well as the activities which are guided by an individual's behavior. Okay, each and every activities are always guided with the individual's behavior. So anthropology is all about the study of human behavior, human activities in the society. Okay, this term anthropology is derived from Greek words anthropos and logos, meaning human studies. Okay, anthropos means human and logos means the studies. It studies about human physical and cultural evolution, the emergence of human physical and cultural dimensions, how human were evolved in multiple generations to generations. How was the life of a primitive society and how is the life of the contemporary societies? Okay, these are the way how we study in anthropology. We always compare the concepts. So anthropology looks at the human physical and cultural evolution, how culture of human and the physical structure, physical growth of human takes place. Okay, this is the anthropological concept. It looks at various societal development in relation to a human. It looks at the society, but it keeps the human in center. Whenever we talk about the sociology, it is also the study of the society, not in particular into the human, but it looks at the society as a whole. But anthropology looks at the society, but it keeps the human in center. Okay, this is the very initial difference between anthropology and sociology. Let's talk about characteristics of sociology. It's a study which studies humankind in totality. What is human, how they have been evolved, and how they are in development, and how was the life of the primitive society, and how is the life of the contemporary society in relation to a human. Okay? Fieldwork and ethnography are used to study the complexity of human, because human behavior, it's a complex phenomenon. Because whenever we talk about human behavior, we need to talk about the society in general. Okay, in which society an individual is grown up, what sort of culture an individual is involved in. Okay, so to understand those complexities of a human, we need to go through field work and ethnography. These are the very best ways to learn the human society or the particular human in anthropological way. Okay, ethnography means being with the participants. If you want to study about human behavior in a particular society, a particular community, then you shouldn't be you shouldn't be based on the secondary information, whatever you get from other means, but instead, you have to go to the field, you have to understand, you have to engage yourself as a researcher into the society, or into the human group of people whom you want to study in. Okay? So comparative study is conducted to understand the development of human, comparison of present with history. How was the human behavior in traditional society, and how is the human behavior in today's society? Okay, these are the things that we need to compare whenever we talk about anthropological studies. Whenever we talk about anthropology, we always compare the context. How was the particular thing in past and how it is in today? Okay, so anthropology implies holistic approach as it studies human development in relation to other social aspects. Holistic approach, it means it talks about all the societal dimensions, all economic, political, and all kind of things. It talks about that, but it keeps a human in center. How all of these societal things affects a particular individual's activities, individuals understanding. Okay, it keeps, anthropology always keeps an individual in center, and it talks about all other peripheral societal aspects. Anthropology earlier was to study backward ethnic groups, but now it studies modern complexities as well. I think it's a more developmental thing, because things are changing day by day. So it talks about, earlier it used to, anthropology used to only talk about the backward ethnic groups, whoever are underprivileged. Anthropology used to talk about underprivileged population only in previous time, but now it talks about all these happenings into the societies in each and every groups. It doesn't care about whether I'm talking about a rich community or a poor community or backward community or the forward community, but it talks about entire community, how a richer society has overflow effect in poor communities. Okay, if you are living in a very educated society, and then you get educated or you get like some knowledge from them, even if you don't belong to that educated community. That's how it affects. So anthropology talks about all the societal modern complexities, the connectedness of various aspects in relation to a particular human. Okay, and it studies the human culture. How it studies the human culture? Anthropology. Why not sociology? Yes, sociology also does the same thing, but anthropology keeps human in a center whenever we talk about human culture, and sociology keeps society in a center whenever we talk about sociology. Okay, don't be confused. The meaning and definition of sociology. Let's enter into the sociology after the anthropological concept. Literal definition of sociology is derived from Latin word societas and Greek word logos. It means society and study. The Latin word societas does mean the society, and Greek word logos does mean the study. So study of the society is known as sociology. It's very simple to understand. Sociology means it's all about the study of the society. Okay, sociology studies the ethnic, linguistic, gender, cultural, religious, economic, and political diversity of the society. It talks about each and every aspects of the society, but like in anthropology, it doesn't keep an individual in center. It talks about the society in very broad mannered way. Okay, how the things are practiced in the society. Yes, it does affect an individual, but sociology talks about all these dimensions in a broader way, and anthropology talks about all these dimensions in a very precise way. That is, they are pretty much focused. The anthropological studies are pretty much focused on an individual. Okay, the cultural, political diversity of the society. Thus, sociology can be an authentic source of theoretical and practical knowledge to learn the society. Okay, because sociology talks about the societal dimensions in a very broad mannered way. That's why sociology can be an authentic source of theoretical and practical knowledge to learn the society, because it talks about how does these cultural things works in a society, okay? How it is in practice. So these kind of things are studied in sociology. Okay, so these are the basis. Sociology is the authentic basis to understand the theoretical as well as the practical dimensions of the society. Okay, French philosopher Auguste Comte has developed the term sociology in 1839. It's earlier than anthropology, I think. Yeah, yes. After that, many philosophers have defined sociology in various contexts. Okay, because you have got all the definitions in your book as well. So just understand what is sociology, and then how it is different than anthropology. It's the very important thing. Anthropology keeps human in center and talks about all the societal dimensions, and sociology talks about the societal dimensions: political, economical, religious, cultural, gender, linguistic, ethnic, and all the caste and all these dimensions, how they are in practice in the society. Okay, but it doesn't focus that much on how individual is influenced with all these varieties of dimensions. Okay, characteristics of the sociology. It's a science. It studies about social relationship. How does it work in the society? But how these activities are influencing the individual is studied through anthropology. Okay, Study of ethnic society, entire society. It studies about the society in entirety, whatever elements exist in the society. It studies about all these things, and anthropology talks also about all these things, but keeps human in the center. Okay, it studies social groups. There are many groups in the society. Okay, heterogeneous group and homogeneous group. You might have gone through these kind of understandings in your grade 11 as well. Study of social interactions, relationship and interaction in groups. These are kind of similar. Study of social activities includes culture, ritual, and practices, how these things are going on in the society. Okay, independent science, because it studies firsthand about the society. Okay, it's not something which is already studied and then it is adding some values on that, but it's an independent science. It only talks about the society. Okay, it does it itself. A pure science, not an applied science, because whenever we talk about applied science, it's about the additional contribution. Okay, development in let's say information technology. There was the concept of communication from the very beginning of the human emergence, human evolution, but we have got cell phone now, but the concept of communication was there. Okay, but society is always new, so there are always new things to study in sociology. So it's not applied science which fits itself with previous theories or the practices, but it looks at the happenings, the real life happenings into the society. So it is a pure science, not an applied science, not an embodied science, which is embodied in previously examined theory or practices. Okay, that's why it is not an applied science. Okay, now it's a time to understand the historical developments, sociology and anthropology in Nepalese context. It's an effect of British colonization in India. Okay, let's not worry about dates and all. If you can remember properly, and then you can go. Otherwise, just you can write whenever there was colonization, British colonization in India. Few researchers have entered Nepal to study Nepal's culture and practices. Before that, before the British colonization in India, Nepal was not studied by anyone in a global way. Okay, so this is the very first time the concept of anthropology and sociology has emerged in Nepal with the help of British researchers. Whoever have entered Nepal from India whenever there was colonization of British in India. Okay, and then TU has introduced, Tirubhuvani University has introduced a study of sociology and anthropology in master's level in 1981. There were few independent researchers before this institutional practice in TU as well. Individually, people who are doing some social researches, but in institutional way, this was the very first time that TU has introduced sociology and anthropology in master's level in 1981. Okay, the Western researchers have introduced Nepal in Europe in 19th century. I think it's like almost late 90s, because in 1981 it has opened up the window for global researches, and then it must be the late 90s that the researchers have brought some understanding about Nepalese society into the Europe. After Rana regime, before Rana regime, there was no permit for international researchers to get entered into Nepalese society in Nepal, right? So the Rana regime was called like dark time for the Nepalese society or something like that as well. Okay. And then after Rana regime, the anthropological and sociological studies have been flourished in Nepal. Before this, it was not allowed in Nepal. Okay. These are the very important history that we need to understand whenever we talk about the historical development in sociology and anthropology in Nepal. Okay. Observation of Anglo-Nepal War, observation of Shah dynasty capturing the Kathmandu Valley, and other practices have been documented as anthropological and sociological studies at that time, because that was the time of Anglo-Nepal War, and then the British and Nepali soldiers were fighting for each other, like for their territory and for their independence and all. And then Nepal was never colonized. It was really, mm, really nice thing to say in front of others, because there are only 19 or something countries which are never colonized. So this is very one of the pride that we must have on us. Okay, these are the things that the sociological anthropological studies have brought with them whenever they came into the Nepal for the very beginning of the sociological and anthropological studies. Okay. I don't know what is the problem there. Mm, I think this is the right one. Okay, institutional and academic development. We have gone through historical development, and now we are going to the academic and institutional development of anthropology and sociology in Nepal. Okay, uh, institutional development has begun after 1950 AD with the gradual development of village development training centers in 1953. I think it is international collaboration or something like that. It must be like that. I couldn't get any document in regard this. Just I could get the notes only. So there was existence of village development training centers uh, to uh, to give a common understanding of the society. Okay, before TU has introduced the course in the master's level course. Okay, Institute of Nepal and Asian Studies was established on the TU. These are the institutional and academic development in the sector of anthropology and sociology. Department of Sociology and Anthropology was established on the TU, and Sociology and Anthropology Association was established on the TU. These kind of associations, I don't know where are they now, but I hope these things will start working in upcoming days. But whenever we study about anthropology and sociology, we need to understand all these institutional and academic development. Okay, after that, like uh, what we need to understand is after that, in 1979, some Nepali scholars were sent to India for training for curriculum development in MA level, master's level, whichever was introduced in TU. Before that, few scholars were sent to India for the development of MA level course. It's not our course, I guess, because they have studied it in India. So, in 1980, the Department of Sociology and Anthropology was founded. In 1981, students enrollment in MA study in anthropology, sociology, and anthropology was started in TU. In 1958, four other satellite campuses of TU has started bachelor's level studies. It was also in Pokhara as well, and then in Kathmandu, Lalitpur, Patan multiple campus in Lalitpur, I guess. They have started bachelor's level classes for sociology and anthropology. In 1996, in 96, 97, it is introduced in grade 12, which we are studying now, okay? Onwards, the subject has been taught in school levels. There are many independent studies carries out in this subject. Independently, people can do the researches in social science, okay? This is really good thing that we have got as a student of sociology and anthropology. Researches are being done Researches are being done in all levels of academic institutions and also in independent level. It means in school level as well, people have started doing the social activities and social projects. These are also a kind of research projects done in the field of sociology and anthropology. Researches and studies in field of sociology and anthropology. Ethnographic studies, it's a scientific description of people and culture with their custom, habits, and mutual differences, where researchers need to be engaged with the people. I have already talked about it in a very introductory part as well. So ethnographic study is the very comprehensive study for sociological and anthropological studies, where researchers go and get engaged with the society and individuals to whom they want to research in, okay? Comparative studies, comparison between past and present, history and present, contemporary, the modern society and the primitive society. We do comparative studies, how it was and then how it is today. This is the way that we study whenever we study the anthropological and sociological dimension. Development and social changes are learned through sociological and anthropological studies. Why? Because we study the society, we study the human being involved with them in real life situation, right? So anthropological studies like the development and sociological changes are always studies through sociological and anthropological studies, because we do comparison. We look at the societal happenings, okay? How it was and how it is the crucial question to be asked while learning the development and social changes. Okay, this much for today. I will have the discussion in regard the questions, looking at the examination point of view in later um, days, because your exam is still uncertain. Let's hope it will be certain very soon, and then we can go in a very precise way. Okay. Thank you. And if you need any facilitation, just drop a mail in my email address, which is shown here. Thank you so much for being with me, and please don't be hesitated to write an email or just like drop in the comment box about whatever you want to uh, understand in more precise way. Okay, thank you so much.